We are back with another exciting episode. Super honored and privileged today to be sitting here with Marleen, one of the powerhouse ladies of the cannabis space. So Marleen, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So Marleen is from Cradle Stoned Quality Solutions, all the way from Krugersdorp.
Yeah.
They came through yesterday on a spontaneous decision, and this is the first time here on the farm.
Well, eh?
Thank you.
Supporting the Eastern Cape Cannabis Cup.
Yeah, you guys were like the third people that, I don't know what happened, but somehow everyone was under the impression that I was going to be here, so I felt a little bit pressured and just got on a flight, and here we are. So awesome. Thank you for helping me out with that also, and providing me with accommodation at your absolutely wonderful space. It's been such an awesome experience.
So no, it's a pleasure to have you here, and hopefully we can do it regularly. You
know? Yeah, I hope so.
Amazing. Marleen, just for our viewers out there, you mind just telling a little bit more about yourself and what you guys are up to at the moment?
Okay, so I guess my most recent thing that I can start with is the manual that I've written with Brett Pollack, my good friend and lawyer person that's just, he's a good buddy of mine as well. I know he's been here with you guys as well.
Yeah, it's featured on our previous
episode. Awesome guy. So
an amazing work on this on the book.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolutely wonderful experience to get what I've been able to figure out about what we're trying to do here on paper and out there to try and help the people. But like you said, my company is called Cradle Stoned Quality Solutions, and besides this, I also help legal facilities with their quality management systems. And just really trying to stay up to date with what's happening in the industry, be ready to adapt and change to what's coming, because I believe that's what the next, at least 5 years are going to consist of. It's just like one change upon another that we need to need to integrate into what we do. So that's just really the space that I'm trying to operate in and contribute to the industry, and then bring it back to the people, which was the main reason for this. So the manual helps you build your own club the way that you want to build it. So it's a system like this can't be a copy-paste solution. You sort of have to figure it out according to like the specifics of you are planting tires. Like that's something that one other club might not do. So then you can't copy and paste this solution to them.
Where are you located? How much space have you got?
So just sort of using this framework to consider those specifics of what you're doing or what you want your club to do.
It's super hard to find all that. That information. It took us a long time to figure out exactly what are we trying to put together here, So if this was available when we started, I could just imagine how much that would have helped us. That's
what I'm really just hoping to do with this, is get it into the hands of people that can use it to help themselves move forward.
Just to add on top of that, Brett also told us for existing clubs such as ours, the manual can also be very resourceful, because there are always ways which you can implement to improve certain things.
Or beef it up, make it more.
And the idea with the second part of the manual, which is the actual modules of the system, the idea with that is that you go and check where can you improve what you're actually doing in practice here, and use what you can get from this to give yourself a bit more structure in areas that you're uncertain of. And then helping you maintain those areas so that you can't, it's not only about gathering data, but then using that data to improve what you're doing, learn from past mistakes, plan for what's coming, be able to adapt and adjust without much of a change happening in the physical everyday activities, so that when legislation allows us to be in a recreational commercial space, it's easy to swap over if you want to, because it's a simple step away.
Will that book allow the reader to understand their rights better as a club owner? In terms, does it define the legal aspect
yes,
does
so
it provide?
that's where Brett was a real awesome star. And the first section of the manual, I pretty much just gave him a structure, if you draw it back to what it started as, you know, and he's gone and expanded with all of the amazing knowledge that he's armed himself with. And he wrote the first section of the manual that discusses everything that the law touches on relating to cannabis. And it really breaks it down in a simple way, as complicated as the laws can be, to help you understand what space it is that you want to occupy in the industry and what you need to consider if you want to be in that space.
Okay.
And really then, according to what he's outlined there, we've designed the two models that we propose for clubs to operate within. And then he sort of discusses the legalities of those as well. And then the second part of the manual, which is the system modules, is really my work then based on the
Quality management
framework
control.
the framework that he's created within his discussion on the law. So it was a really good collaboration, and we've been able to really use each other's knowledge in a constructive way to provide this. So
Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Really
And
good
I
experience.
think we're going to have to arm ourselves with one of these.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I
Go
think
for it.
every club
Where
actually.
can our viewers go to find this book exactly?
So it's available on our website, which is cradlestonedquality.co.za.
Okay.
And we ship it to wherever you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So you were mentioning two models now. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? The two models that are available.
Sure. So the first model is the personal private model, which basically goes back to creating the relationship, the individual relationship between the consumer and the grower. So the grower is providing a service to a member that leases a private space, and whatever the club grows then for the member, everything is returned to the member, that specific plant.
So it's on an individual basis.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So it's like the Hayes Club operated,
That's a good
which
example.
there's a really solid argument for, and we're hoping with their court case still coming up, that argument is going to be heard, because we also do believe in its validity. And then the second model is the shared collective model, which is pretty much what you guys are doing here. And it's so amazing because it's really the community part of the heart of clubs for me. Is people in a stokvel style coming together, contributing whatever they can, and everything sort of belongs to all of the members. So there's no need for that individual tracking and tracing of plants to prove the ownership, because from inception it belongs to everyone. So a lot less administrative requirements in that sense, and really a lot more about the coming together. So it's claiming the privacy judgment, but alongside the freedom of association, and saying that just because we have to do it in private doesn't mean we have to do it alone. We can do it together privately.
Okay. Because we always argue not everyone has the ability and the means to grow their own cannabis, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then
So you need...
that preventing them from exercising their legal constitutional right, that is unconstitutional.
Exactly.
So there should be a way for the community to come together and take care of each other. You know, just like there are stokvels for money saving and groceries. You know, it just makes sense to incorporate that on that level as well.
And stokvel is it's a South African idea. I don't think it gets used like in any other country.
Yeah, it is a very local thing, so it makes sense.
It's another thing that makes us quite progressive in the movement, which I love.
Correct.
Can I ask you so Cradle Stoned Quality Solutions, that's your company, right? Can I ask you just to elaborate a little bit on that? You guys doing a bit of, you said consultation? Yes,
so alongside the manual, we offer implementation services of the modules within the manual. So if you find, for example, you need help with implementing the management process for your cultivation operation. Then I'd come and help you figure that out, and we'd get that system in place for you. And if you're fine with everything else, then I go off and I do my little thing again, and you come and call me when you need me. And then it's mostly administrative stuff that I do for legal cultivation facilities in terms of their quality management systems. So Global Gap, GMP, hemp permits, all of those sorts.
So in simple terms, if you are looking to enter the cannabis space as a grower, then Cradle Stoned Quality Solutions you can come to them and they'll be able to set you up.
You cater for the backyard grower and the GMP and everyone as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, because I think that any positive forward movement within cannabis should be supported and given the tools to make happen. You know, there's no publicity like bad publicity sort of vibe in terms of. Like, yes, we don't want the corporatization and international investment and ownership of the entire industry, but there's a huge industry and there's a lot of space that needs to be filled up.
Space
and
for everybody.
We can work together to get to a better community. So I'm really trying to, in whatever way I can, just contribute back to making cannabis become a thing in our country.
And we've all been saying we need a kind of resource where we can access the information of what are our rights and how can we apply that to successfully make cannabis more accessible to the communities. So it's beautiful that you guys have managed to pull that together and be able to provide that to the community.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it was a way that I learn also is by taking what I read and rewriting it so that it makes sense for me. And I do have a background in teaching, you know, I was a teacher, so I always need to find some way to teach someone, you know, like just giving someone structure to go and do something on their own. So sort of that empowerment thing of just like sometimes I can just help you fill a gap that you need filled to be able to really move forward for yourself. And that's where my happiness lies, is just helping people find their way.
Okay. And so a little bit of a change of topic. You guys were at the Eastern Cape Cannabis Cup briefly, but you were there, you know. So,
I sort of came in at the tail end, you know, due to my very impulsive decision to just fly down and come and see everyone. I sort of got there a little bit late, but it was a lack of vibe. And it's really just nice to see more of these events popping up and more people becoming aware. You know, and I was sitting across the road. There was the Gamtoos River, and I was sitting on a bench there, and two oaks came down to go and get on a little boat and go fishing on the river. And I just heard them talking, and the one guy dropped their joint in the river, and they were just so completely just devastated about it because it was the last of their weed. And I sat and I felt in my pockets, and I'm like, no, but I got a joint. And I went and I gave it to them, and as they were going, you could just hear them like, no, but there's this weed thing across the road. You should have known someone will sort us out. And it's so nice to just see the plant be in more places and more acceptable. It's a really amazing time to be alive for me. I think I said this to you guys yesterday as well. Just to, you know, when I started smoking weed, I was in varsity, and it was a scallum thing, you know. It was like completely illegal, and you'd get kicked out and all sorts of stuff. But I didn't see then what I'm seeing now, and it's so great to be alive to see this fold out in our lifetime. And we're still young, like we have a while to go still and see all of this happen.
See the change happen.
It's so exciting to see this.
And it starts with cannabis. Along with cannabis comes all these other exciting things. We always say once you start growing cannabis, there's a spark which happens, you know. You start evolving a love for cultivation. So it's massive to see that this transition
change will only happen once, you know.
Yes.
So I 100% agree with you. We so like it's such a special time to be alive, just to witness it.
Yes.
And then we get to play a part in it and be actively involved in
exactly.
it. So.
Yeah. No, very exciting times. I'm very humbly grateful to the universe to finding it suitable to do this in our time. I think it's amazing. Yeah.
We see a lot of men in the cannabis space, and lately we've seen more females crawling out of the woodwork. What is your opinion on that? How do you think that women can? Do you think there are enough women involved in cannabis? And what role do you think they can play in the whole cannabis space?
Okay, that is a good question, and it's always a tricky one to talk about, because I'm not a raging
sexist
feminist or a sexist. Like I really work on like what value can you contribute, and how hard are you willing to work for it, you know. If you can earn a space for yourself, then you deserve that space, you know. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman.
Exactly.
And I find like a lot of people expect me to be older than I am, and a lot of people, once they find out that like, okay, this is what I've done, it's sort of like only then do they look at me differently and take me seriously. And that's okay, you know. I don't have a problem with people learning to get to know other people and what it is that they can contribute, but a man is taken much more seriously in the industry, and men are way more predominantly in the industry in roles that are influencing. However, there is a shift, and it's busy happening, and more women are coming out about it. The problem that we have is in the family setup, and especially in divorce court and children custody cases, women who use weed lose out. They always get negatively affected. It gets used against them. And that is a space that I'm not happy with. And I think I don't have any kids, so for me, you know, I'm not concerned about it being used against me in that sort of space. But if I was a mother, possibly going through a terrible relationship that I need to get out of, that is something that would be a concern for me. And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I think that is what is preventing a lot of women out there to step up and do what it is they feel they can do to contribute to the industry. So there's still a lot of destigmatization that we need to do, unfortunately, and it'll still be a while before everything is as comfortable as we want it to be.
It becomes more of a balanced playing field.
Correct. But there's no reason for there to be any sexism. No. There's no reason for there to be any segregation or politics or attitude or anything. Yeah. We're in a position where we can all work together to make this industry move forward rapidly, and we should be doing that. It should be about the plant and getting the plant to a better place where we can access it easier and include everyone on moving together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Safely.
So it shouldn't matter that I'm a woman. It shouldn't matter that you are men. It shouldn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. What value are you contributing? And that is what should matter at the end of the day, is what is it that I can do to make it better, and am I taking that responsibility to help and make it better.
It's very powerful and insightful, though, that which you shared of the woman with the kids. You know, that makes a lot of sense. I've never thought of it that way.
Because I mean, in a courtroom, if things have to go down, I'm sure it looks bad. If you like, you know.
Yeah, it can be made to look bad.
It can be made, and
the laws don't protect you.
Exactly.
So,
so and it's a situation that now recently a friend of mine is finding herself in that situation, and it's really sad to see. Because she's a wonderful mother, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of women who smoke cannabis that are mothers are wonderful mothers.
Yes.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong. If it can be okay to come home from work, have a crazy day and have a glass of wine. Why can I not just have a joint? Like, I don't drink alcohol at all. So why can't I just have a joint? Why is that not okay? You know, and until that is okay, I think that's something that's holding women back.
Yeah. 100%, that makes sense completely. And your take on the next 2 years for South Africa?
Sure, I think we're in for a ride, guys. If you check the proposed bill and the commercialization clause that was included, I think it's clear to see that government is realizing they need to make this happen. Regardless of how that clause came to be in the bill, the fact that it's there is a really good, positive forward step for us as the stoners, the consumers, you know, the guys that want the plant everywhere in our lives. That's a good move. So I think once we can get that implemented, the bill passed, that would be a great
step forward.
Yeah, that would lead to a whole shift. A lot of clubs would want to switch over to sort of a commercial dispensaries style. A lot of clubs would want to remain exactly what they are because I think the future for clubs is in craft cannabis, in creating a really, let me put this down, in creating a really high quality, specialized craft product. I think that is the space that clubs will occupy for a long time to come still. But the big thing that will need to happen before all of this will be issue-free in terms of the law is that the Drugs Act still need to change. There's still definitions within there that ultimately makes it difficult for any other legislation to be effectively passed. So there's still a lot that needs to happen. But Cyril did do that thing at Sona, you know, where he really indicated his support for the development. And let's hope that we can take government seriously at that and just push them and get them to move this forward as soon as possible. But the next 2 to 5 years, I think we're in for a great time, guys.
Yeah.
So in your opinion...
Awesome. It's lucky to hear a bit of positivity and with everything going on in the world. Yes.
How do you think private cannabis clubs can contribute towards the South African economy?
So I think that if we can make this a legitimized, recognized concept, that could be in its own, even if it needs to be, you can see in the bill that they sort of leaning towards the permit license structure because that's how alcohol is regulated, that's how tobacco is regulated. It would just make sense. And that's, again, a structure that's already in place that you can just implement and you know, integrate the cannabis components into that. So if clubs could have a license or a permit, I know there's a lot of politics around that, but if we need to look at getting ourselves, us meaning the clubs and what we're trying to do, if we look at getting that into a publicly accepted space where we can operate the way that we want to operate.
No more grey space.
Yes, but while maintaining our privacy aspect of community only, you know, and I think there's really a future for us, like I said, in the craft cannabis space in that sense. You know, we'll have dispensaries on the street and that'll be fantastic and that will also have its space, but we'll always have our tribes within the community of cannabis, you know, and that's what clubs will, I feel, become. They will become the bars of the alcohol industry, you know. That is where you come to go and have a stoner event where you can light up a cigarette or a joint and both are fine, you know, and just interact with people that you have things in common with and feel like you socially belong, because that's at the end of the day what we're all after, is just feeling like we have a space somewhere.
And you think it can obviously be a massive contribution for our economy because it'll create massive cash flows, lots of jobs.
Definitely. I mean, if those are like we're trying to do through a non-profit structure, we're still creating jobs, we're still creating employment. We can, those things are all things that are taxed, you know, income tax, payee, UIF, all of those things are what you can pull into the structure to help give back to the economy while providing growers, employees, administrators, finances, all of them with a solid job opportunity and something that they're really good at while contributing to something that's bigger than just them. You understand? So making these clubs sort of fall into some sort of legal structure, that's the way that we can coexist with government. Yes. Give us the permission to do this. Tell us what we need to pay you in a year so that we can do this, and then let us do this.
Give us
we'll
the
contribute back.
The regulations.
Exactly.
We would like
We're not acting as criminals. We're not hurting anybody.
We want to contribute back to the economy, and there's a massive space for us to be able to do that. So give us whatever paper it is that you want us to sign. Let us sign it. Tell us what we need to do, and we'll find a way to do that so that we can legitimize what it is that we're doing without feeling scared that the cops are going to come rocking up and
your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful who you speak to about what it is that you're doing. You know, those things are all like, yes, we have to do that now, but it's unnecessary. We want to be able to speak to other clubs and work with other clubs together, create other communities, give the support to them to be able to create their community. So we want to be able to operate transparently without being scared of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
At the end of the day, we got nothing to hide.
Exactly.
if we can use cannabis freely, then
exactly.
Please check everything out.
Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Have you got any positive messages you would like to just throw out there for our listeners? Anything that you've taken?
Sure. I'm really grateful to be part of the industry and part of various communities. Like I've really found such a kinship with you guys here at the CannaClub. It's been so amazing.
That's mutual.
And I think my message would just be like, let's do it for the weed. You know, let's find ways to work together. Let's find ways to contribute to building the cannabis industry as fast as we possibly can, so that we come at government instead of government coming at us. You know, let's build a good integrative industry, and we can all do that by contributing what we already know. You know, like my contribution stems from experience in quality management systems, and I've just combined that with weed, and boom, there's a whole line for me to go down that I can develop and find a way of working in, you know. So find what you're already good at and plug it into cannabis, and you'll find a way to make yourself relevant in the industry and find a way to contribute. If you really want to be in the cannabis space, I think that's the best way that you can possibly do it, is bring your existing skill to the industry so that we can build it together.
That is so beautifully put, Marleen.
Yeah,
we always iterate on that. And it takes a team of these individuals as well, you know, because Harris is a good grower, I'm a computer guy, you're a good legal mind. So once you combine all of that together,
and that's what it's about.
Yeah,
you know, that's what clubs should be built around. Is let's all take what we already know and bring it to work together.
As you say, do it for the plant.
Exactly.
Do it for the plant.
Exactly, and for each other. Because we're all we have. You know?
And we're a part of that plant. We're a part of each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics and this and that and at the end of the day, we can all work together. There's a space for all of us. And we need to keep it nice and
inclusive.
Friendly and inclusive.
Yes.
And like you said, help the smaller guys. Let's help each other out in this community. You know, until they get their community up and running, and then So very powerful messaging, and you know, thank you for spreading it.
Awesome.
You're
welcome. Thank
you
for giving me the opportunity.
We got one last vraagje for you.
Okay.
So this is always the trickiest one. Is what is the most, if you can pinpoint one thing, what is the most important thing you've learned throughout your career so far in cannabis?
Change. You need to be able to adapt. Like we just said, the next few years in the industry is going to be full of change.
Yes.
All of it is gonna change. Just like 3 years ago, this all looked different to what it does now. So the personal lesson that I've taken so far is that I need to adapt. I need to be able to adapt quickly. So I sort of need to teach myself the code of change, so that whatever the industry does, we're able to move with it. And I think if you're trying to find a relevant foot in the industry now, you also need to enter it with that mindset. Like, be ready for change, because it's coming. It's coming. You can't stop it. So yeah, that's sort of the biggest lesson I think that I've personally learned through my journey and getting this written and published and ready. Change.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Marleen.
Awesome.
We would urge all our viewers to go support the book and Cradle Stoned Quality Solutions.
This is how you get it done.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for being willing to chat to me and giving me the space and just inviting me to your absolutely beautiful space.
Thank you so much.
I want to urge everyone, if you're in the Plet area, you need to drop by. If you need a place to stay, there's lovely accommodation. Everyone is so welcoming. It's such a connect with nature and the plant and good people, amazing space. Really,
thank you so
guys are
much.
doing awesome things here.
Thank you so
much.
Yeah.
And thank you. You traveled
Across South Africa.
kilometers.
On a whim, but yeah, I'm so glad I did though. This was
Awesome,
absolutely wonderful.
awesome.
Thank you guys.
Gewoonlik dan gee ons 'n klein boom, but I want to give you a hug, Marleen. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you, man. Awesome to be here. Thanks, guys.